Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is 3-Chord Dave, and today we're going to talk about the Fender Player Plus series, because you know, every other guitar channel is doing it, so we should too. Yes, folks, we're going to talk about those new Fenders in just a moment, but let me just say thanks to all the people who've been subscribing, liking, and commenting on videos very recently. I really do appreciate all of your input to the channel. It means so much to me. So if you could hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, that'd be super cool. When I hit 5,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away a guitar to one of you lucky people out there. It's going to be a super cool guitar. I've already picked it out. It's going to be sent to you. It'll be brand new. You're going to love it. So hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Make sure also you have chosen the bell thing and all notifications, because then YouTube loves us and gives us more views. So let's talk about guitars. So the Fender Player Plus series is an upgrade to the Fender Player series, but the Fender Player series is going nowhere. So basically, your Fender Player series is your entry-level Fender, made in Mexico, of course, which is great. And there's some good choices in that lineup. It's pretty basic, but it's what you want pretty much if you're spending $600 or so on a guitar. Pretty cool. You've got a Fender and it's basic, but it does the job. So the Fender Player Plus is basically what Fender have done is they've listened to what people were saying could be improved or could be changed or could be upgraded on these guitars, and they've pretty much done it. They've given more choices in colors, different choices in colors. They've got better pickups. They've got locking tuners, they've got all sorts of things that are different. So we're going to go through the differences between the Player series and the Player Plus series. I'm going to show you some of the colors going through here as we go, and you can make your mind up. I think some of the color choices particularly here are really cool, although I don't know why anyone would buy a Kermit the Frog colored guitar. So watch out for me buying one probably very soon. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about what's the same on these guitars, because there are some very important differences, but some things have remained the same. So the Player and the Player Plus series both have alder bodies. They both have a modern C profile neck. They both have satin finish on the neck. All of this stuff is very cool, and they both have medium jumbo frets. Those are the four main things that are the same across the board on these guitars. Now let's get into what's different, and these are brand new Fender noiseless pickups. Now of course, noiseless pickups are not new for Fenders, but they were not in the Player series, which had Alnico pickups, pretty much bog standard basic pickups. These are a little bit of an upgrade and very much appreciated. I think people are going to dig these. What Fender are saying is that it'll give you a hum-free, clearer and more balanced sound from the Player series pickups. So that's cool across the board if that all plays out as they say it will. Something else that they have added is auxiliary switching. So we've got a push-pull on every one of these guitars, and what they do. So in the SSS versions of the Strat, what it does is it gives you the neck pickup into positions 1 and 2. So that's excellent. Gives you a little bit more tonal variety there. In the HSS, of course, it's just a straightforward coil split. So you get that single coil sound. So you can have a, you know, HSS and an SSS essentially, kind of. And then in the Teles, what it does, the push-pull will give you series mode. So that will give you more output and body to the sound. So essentially, well, that's what they say. So we'll see how that goes. But definitely a nice little feature to be adding into these guitars. And for the price range, I think it's a nice little spec bump with the pickups and the switching as well. But something else that they have added, which is a nice upgrade, is the treble bleed circuitry. Now, at its basic, what that is that when you roll down the volume knob and you get to like 2 on cheaper guitars, the sound just cuts out. What this does, it's always going down. It goes all the way down to 0. And, you know, that's a really handy feature as well, because you can change sounds going all the way up to that, you know, 1 to 11 and keep going. But that's not something that's in the Fender Player series. And in fact, a lot of cheaper guitars under €1,000, $1,000, they don't really have that too often. Although I have to say Epiphones have had that for the last couple of years now. So nice to see Fender adding it to some of their ranges. A huge change for Fender on this one is that the fretboard radius is going to 12 inches, which is, wow, that's a big difference, because the Player series has 9.5 inch radius, which is, you know, what kind of most modern Fenders have been for the last while now. That makes it a big change. Now, Flatter radius, like the 12-inch radius, is going to be better for, you know, bending, and it's also going to be better for playing fast. It makes it a bit easier, stuff like that. And yeah, I think people are, especially newer players, are going to really enjoy it, I think, having that. The interesting thing is Fender seems to be going more and more towards the larger fret radius. 9.5, as I said, for most modern Fenders. 7.25 inches for like a vintage Fender is the norm. So big differences there from Fender. We've also got the rolled edges on the fretboard, which is something that I think people are going to really enjoy about these guitars. Now, what that does is basically makes your guitar feel a little bit played in already when it's just brand new out of the box. It's not an aging thing. It's not like an age technique or anything like that. It's just about how the guitar feels in your hand. And I think a lot of people like it now and like are demanding that from like custom shops and stuff like that. So nice touch to be put in here from Fender. I'm not saying it's anything like a custom shop spec, by the way, but you know, it's nice to have. And the other thing that really stands out for me is locking tuners come as standard across the range here on these guitars, which is really nice to have, because although the Fender tuners that are on the Player series are pretty decent, it's always nice to have locking tuners instead come on the guitar, because a lot of people will upgrade to those anyway. So great touch there from Fender. But these upgrades don't come for free, so you know they do cost somewhere around $300 to $350 in differences, because these start around $999, and the Player series somewhere between $600 to $700 is where you're picking them up for most of the models. Now, as I said, there's also some pretty cool color choices. Some of my favorites are, as I said, the Kermit the Frog, Cosmic Jade Green. That does look like a nice guitar. What I don't like particularly is the aged Candy Apple Red. Now, I just don't know where they got the inspiration for this. It's not something I like the look of, and it doesn't to me look like anything like an aged Candy Apple Red. So whatever you're smoking, Fender, pass it around. The cool ones, look, they've got a nice silver burst. That's a cool looking one. They've got the traditional colors like they will always have. So you got the 3-color sunburst, which is great. You want to have that. And then they've also got the butterscotch blonde for the Telecaster, which is an absolute classic. Everybody loves butterscotch blonde on a Tele. And then you've got the two most interesting ones, I think, are the Bel Air Blue, and then you've got the what's it called? Tequila Sunrise. It's a bit of a cheesy name, but those guitars are interesting. Now, do I like these kind of fades that they're doing? I'm not so sure that's what I want, but you know, maybe if it was a burst in these colors, I'd appreciate it a lot more. But you know, it's something new, it's something different, and that's to be applauded. I think they're doing a good job of trying something different. It's very difficult to do something new with a guitar that's been around since the 1950s. So good job on trying something new there, Fender. And they've also got in the Telecaster, they've got the Silver Smoke, I think, which is the name of it. And that's an interesting one. It doesn't really just grab me, but hey, you know, these are guitars that I think will appeal to a lot of people, particularly people who are like maybe upgrading from their first guitar. So something maybe classic vibe players or Player series players themselves will look to upgrade, and this will be an option for them. Some really nice guitars. They do come with a gig bag as well, which the Player series does not. But again, for 300 extra euros, extra dollars, whatever the case may be, I think you're actually getting a good amount of upgrades for that price. So very interesting stuff from Fender. And I'm told we'll have a big announcement from Fender next month and another one again in November. So definitely worth keeping an eye on what Fender do over the next few months. I think there's something really cool coming from them, but I haven't confirmed it, so I won't say anything about it yet. Now, what I would like you to do is, if you don't mind, just in the comment section, tell me what you think of these new Fender Player Series Plus thingies. And if you like the colors, what is your favorite one? And that's, you know, something that we can talk about, because I do like it does drive me crazy sometimes when they keep the better looking colors or the better looking finishes for the more expensive lines. I think, look, it's only paint pads. It can't be that much more expensive. It can't be like only $2,000 guitars or only $3,000 guitars can get X finish. I think that's a little bit crazy. So let me know your thoughts on these finishes. I think it's very interesting that they're trying something different. They're definitely experimenting, and some of the finishes are cool. Some of them will be hit and miss. But hey, nice that they're doing something. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to hit subscribe and like the video and all that sort of stuff. I'll be back again to you very, very soon. And have you seen this in the background? Yeah, we'll probably talk about it at the weekend. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.